Happy Spooktacular. These are incense matches. So, if you want a little bit of ritual, you can buy these matches. This one comes from theincensematch.com, and I have them. This was a Christmas/anniversary gift from my husband this past year, and it came with so many different um scents and all that stuff. And if you can kind of see it, it does leave a nice bit of incense until it's gone. But where those big long sticks come in sometimes is that when you have really big, long incense sticks, they last so long that sometimes they start to bother George's allergies. I do a lot of my witchy ritual things in this room just because it's a little bit away from him and he doesn't come in here as often. But it is nice to have something like this if you want to do some rituals. So it is our official first Spooktacular coffee chat. There will be 2 of these throughout our Spooktacular. So we have this one today. And then we also have next Friday where we're going to talk a little bit more about manifestation. But today we're going to talk about crystals and rituals and ways that you can bring magic into your everyday life. So this is going to be really fun. Also, I wanted to mention, if you have not been joining in our Spooktacular celebration yet, the Spooktacular really is 13 days to celebrate our community, to celebrate our time together, and also to celebrate what started it all in the Sarah Cannon world, which is beautiful demons. And, my obsession with witchy things really started out pretty early. But I was not allowed to explore a lot of it. So I did a lot of my witchy type. I didn't even recognize them as rituals, I guess, until I was older. I was like, gosh, I used to do that kind of stuff. Like I used to go searching in the woods for like sticks, and I would create a circle around myself and I would sit there and I would just daydream about things. I also used to like put my feet in a cold running stream and like make up poems and chants, which really is a very witchy thing to do when you have full free reign of acres and acres of wood. So my family grew up, or I grew up in my family's home in the middle of the woods on 10 acres, but there were hundreds of acres of farmland around me. And so when I would go out, even just as like a 7-year-old, my, parenting norms were a little bit different. And back then, my parents would just let us go running off and we wouldn't come home for hours and hours. Now I feel like if Andrew disappeared for an hour, I'd be like, where is he? But sorry, but back then, nobody seemed to care that we were gone for so long. But I used to play in the woods a lot, and I played with my brother some, and we would make up stories and we would create little houses out of pine straw and different things like that. But I also really communed with nature, and I love that. And this is one of the things that I loved both about being near the ocean, and then also what I love now that we live on our own little farmland. And so this has been really nice for me to be able to get my feet back in the grass every day, to start gardening. I want to do more of it, but it has been really nice. And I just kind of reminisce and remember some of those things. But I also had that sort of daily magic of running around out in the woods and being quiet. And I feel like the silence and the stillness is part of what is missing in my life these days, because we have so much noise. And even when I'm sitting outside, sometimes I will have my phone with me. And if I do, I'm often lost in the world of online, like friends and social media and reading articles and checking the news and what's the weather going to be. And of course, those things are really, really neat to have. And I'm glad that we are able to connect to each other in those ways. But at the same time, something that I have been feeling over this past year since we moved into this house in February is the desire to get back to some of the silence of my childhood, some of that creative just stillness and being alone and alone with my own thoughts, my own imagination, and all of those sorts of things. And some of the way that I do that is with small rituals. So we're going to go over some of that today. Um, but I feel like, I've struggled really a bit over the last year, but also truly ever since Evie was born, or even since I started my YouTube channel, Heart Breathings, because there has been so much to do. It's a very busy life that I lead. And especially with two kids, I know some of you mamas out there understand, or even if you're not a mama, having dogs or animals to take care of, having a full time job, having someone else to caretake for, having uh, uh, like an illness or something that you have to deal with, a chronic illness, all of that stuff affects all of us in its own way. And then you add to that the busyness of our lives to online media and how we have all these distractions available to us. I think that has gotten harder and harder to find those still times throughout the day. And because of that, my creativity um has waned because I think I need that non-occupied space, that blank space in my brain, which sounds kind of strange because I don't mean like not being intelligent. What I mean is that blank space in my mind of like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not trying to figure out stuff. I'm just kind of daydreaming and being still. And that is really a lot of times in that stillness is where my best ideas come from. It's where my inner truth of knowing that I'm safe and that I'm taken care of and that I'm guided, all of those kinds of things. So it's a spiritual thing for me as well. And it's also just the moment where I get to hear my own voice. And I think this is also it's kind of an ironic thing for me to say when I'm here and all you hear is my voice for an hour every Friday, but the irony is not lost on me. But sometimes that time to be still whenever you can find it without distraction allows you to really tap into that inner voice for you, that inner part of you that knows who you are, rather than the other world telling you, like the people around you, the outside world, the input, the fears that we have of being judged or what other people think of us. When we can step away from that just a little bit, it gives us the freedom to really listen to ourselves and our own intuition. And I, for one, truly believe that when you're listening to your intuition and you're really tapped into that, now, whatever higher power you see that is, or whether you believe in a higher power or not, just that maybe the higher power is you, that stillness can allow you to hear that higher self voice inside you that says, this is who you are. This is what you're meant to do. And a lot of times there's two things, well, maybe three things that I get sometimes out of that quiet time. One of them being just my own when I've been searching for decisions and I'm trying to make a decision, sometimes being quiet, that decision will just bubble up and it'll be like, oh, now it's super obvious to me what I need to be doing because I just needed some peace and quiet to realize it. The second thing that will bubble up is story ideas. And this happens. Sometimes they're not always the story ideas I want. I'm like, I have a couple of holes in book 12 that I really want to figure out. That's where I want my mind to be going. But sometimes it's figuring out different storylines. It's figuring out new things. It's envisioning new characters. And that is really fun for me. And so when I don't have the silence or the stillness or the ability to like just be quiet and not have so much input coming at me from the outside world, don't have that like creative mind. And the third thing that I see a lot is visions of the future. And I know that this sounds super woo woo, but I figure we can go super woo because it's the spooktacular and we're allowed to go there. But this is something that I feel like I had my very first vision of my future when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And it was when Halley's Comet was coming through. And we had driven up to Macon, Georgia to see as a like, I think the church family had, decided to go up in the church van or else we were in my Aunt Barbara's van, I can't quite remember, and we went up to go see Halley's Comet at the, like, observatory that was in Macon, and unfortunately, there was too much clouds and we couldn't actually see the comet, so that was a little bit disappointing, but I do also remember this is probably where my love of donuts came in because I remember that there was a Krispy Kreme donuts in Macon, and this was like an hour drive from where I grew up, which was a very, very small town. And we stopped at the Krispy Kreme and they had that window where you could watch them making the donuts. And it was really, really late at night. It was like midnight or something because we had to go like really late to be able to hoping we stayed like hoping to be able to see Haley's Comet and it never cleared. But I remember just like wow, that's how donuts are made. Look at all that sugar. And like I got to eat donuts at midnight. That was just super cool. But because there were so many people in the van, they actually put me in the very back of the van on the way home. So we're talking like where the luggage goes. Like these are things they would, like I was talking about parenting norms. They would never do this to kids these days because it's super dangerous. But back then I was like back in the very back, like of the van, right? In the, just the like storage luggage compartment thing. And I was laying back like this, just kind of staring up at the sky as we were driving by. And all of a sudden, I was kind of in that in between state. And I had a vision moment. And once you go crispy, you can't go back. This is just awesome. I love it. My best friend is like obsessed with donuts. I haven't had one in a while, but that's so true. Um, but I had a vision and I saw myself with like so clearly, like a navy blue shirt, long hair, glasses, leaning over and writing in a notebook. Like, and I thought in that moment, I was like, I'm going to be a writer. And I always forget exactly how old I was. If anybody has Google available and you can tell me what year Halley's Comet came through in the 80s, it was, I think it was 83 or 84. So I would have been like 7 years old. It could have been 85 or 86, but it was somewhere around then. But it was like, it was as if someone was projecting that vision onto 86. Thank you, Carrie. So I was 9. So I was older than I was thinking. Or I might have been 8. No, I was probably 9. So 9 years old. And it was like someone was projecting that vision onto the window of the van. I could see it so clearly, and I tried so hard to hold on to it. I was like, "What is this?" My whole body went in chills, and I could see it, and I kind of forgot about it, and I had some other experiences similar to that type of thing throughout my life, but it was that first vision that I remember that stuck with me for a long time. And I kept thinking no matter what I started going through, I was trying to be an opera singer. I was trying to pursue all these different things in my life. And I thought, but maybe I was meant to be a writer because I saw that. And anytime anyone would mention that, it was sort of like if I would talk about it like to a friend or something like that, I I would be like, um, like this is probably silly, whatever. And a lot of people in my life would be like, oh yeah, that's kind of stupid. Like nobody sees that. Oh, you think you're this, whatever. But there was some part of me deep inside that was like, I think this is what I'm meant for. And I hit a point. We moved. So I didn't see the actual moment of that vision right when I became a writer. But when I was living in Colombia, so I had been a writer probably for about 3 or 4 years at this point. I was wearing a navy blue shirt and had my glasses on, and I sat down at my desk to write in a notebook, and I suddenly just had this like time warp moment because I was working on a new idea, I think Deep Dark Secrets, because I had been kind of in a writing slump for a while, and it was like, okay, well, I'm going to sit down and try to plot out this new story, and it was like it just smacked me right in the face of saying, remember how you knew you were going to be a writer? This is the moment. And I almost wanted to call George in and be like, take a photo of me right now, because this is my life. Like this is who I am. And I saw this in 1986, right? Like, I saw this when I was 9 years old. And actually, what would be interesting is I wrote it in my journal, so I need to go look, but it might have been that I had just turned 39. So it could have been like exactly 30 years since that vision. So that's kind of neat. And just to, I guess I should say slight trigger warning here, because I'm going to talk just a moment about loss of a baby. But George and I had been trying to have a second child for a while. And when I was just about to publish Beyond the Darkness, is that right? Or Deceiving Dark? No, it might have been Deceiving Darkness. I was just about to publish it, had told everyone that release date and everything. We had gotten pregnant, and I didn't tell anyone because it was super, super early. And a lot of people just don't talk about that super early. I was only about like 6 weeks pregnant. But after years of infertility, and we were just like so excited, and I was like, the book was finished. But like 2 days before or 3 days before I was supposed to publish the book, which meant I still needed to do like the formatting and marketing type stuff for the book, I lost the baby. And so I was just like, okay, this is a devastating moment. But that night, George was holding me in the bed, and I was just kind of again laying down, and in that sort of in between moment where it's like you're kind of falling asleep but you're kind of awake. And interestingly, I was also kind of looking toward a window and saw in my head like a series of images, sort of like a projector, just like and the images were of me holding a baby girl in a pink blanket, and she had brown hair and dark eyes. And it was like this moment of saying, this is not the end, your baby is coming. And so it was just this beautiful affirmation moment for me. And I saw it so clearly. And actually, that was not the only vision that I saw. I saw the baby. I saw later in her life, I saw a moment with me on a stage. I saw some stuff for Andrew. I saw just a little bit later in our lives together as a family. And it was just like boom, 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 boom. And I thought, okay, I am still going to mourn this, and I'm still going to cry over this, but there is a promise that this is still meant for me. So that was another vision. So you can tell Wendy or anybody that had to mute that it's okay to come back now. But then in addition, and this comes from the rituals, which is something that I want to talk about, is that when I started, if you guys remember, so this is George bought me the witch's cabinet, right? And for when I was reading The Witch's Key, I did a vlog where I shared with you guys, for those of you that were around a couple of years ago, I shared with you what was in that witch's cabinet and everything. And every night when I started to write down a like tarot card and have a little ritual, I didn't have these little incense matches, but I would light other incense there. And I would often have little candles or crystals with me. And I would do evening rituals every single night in front of that cabinet. And I would have my notebook with me. And one of the things that I did was I would light one of these candles, something around this size. You can find these, a lot of times they're called chime candles or ritual candles, and they only last, like, they don't, some depends on the quality of them, but sometimes they drip, sometimes they don't. And they only last somebody tell me, maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, or sometimes you can put them out. I just don't blow them out. I will use like a candle snuffer, but I will use this, and I will sort of have an intention of I'm going to try to get myself into that in between state and see if I can have any other visions. And a lot of times nothing will come, but I'll try to like do some meditation, or I'll try to clear my mind. And I had another super, super clear vision of myself all in black, like maybe like black satin pants or something like that, black heels, a black shirt, kind of dressed fancy with my hair up, walking onto a stage, and not expecting like that there would be much of a reaction, and seeing a bunch of people just stand up really excited that I had come on the stage. And it was such a surprise to me that I just started crying. And when I saw that moment, it was just like chills, because I was like, maybe this has to do with my movie deal someday, my TV deal. Maybe this is a Comic-Con, maybe this is a conference. I don't know what this is, but I wrote that down, and I've had similar types of visions to that. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share some of that sort of stuff. So Laura says those candles last about 30 to 75 minutes for me. Depends if I'm burning outside or inside. Yeah, I was thinking like 30 minutes to an hour, on average, but I know sometimes I do actually put them out as well if they're going for a long time. And one of the things that you can do is to, you can put aluminum foil underneath it, so you're reflecting that power of the candle, so that it's not just a flat surface. Something that I learned from one of my subscription boxes, and so now every time I light one of these candles, I will usually light it and just let some of the wax drip down, and then I will use the wax to like stick it to the aluminum foil, and I will allow that aluminum foil to kind of make the power so much bigger. And yes, so this is kind of an interesting one that I've talked about before. Is I had another experience. This is also back in that Columbia house. I forgot to mention this one. That I was laying in bed again. So often it's that like almost asleep kind of state, and I was laying in bed and saw very clearly me in like a black pencil skirt and a white shirt, standing like on the street in New York, but like not on the street, like on the sidewalk. And a car was coming up. So it was either a cab or a car that had been called for me. And it was just such a moment of like, this is a big moment. I was either being asked to do a big interview, sign a big contract, be on TV somewhere, maybe a publishing deal, who knows, but it's like something is going on. And when that happened, my spiritual guru person, Tanya, who's my tarot life coach, she texted me and she said, I just had the coolest vision of you dressed in a black skirt standing on the street of New York. And it was a shared vision. And I just was like, my whole body went in chills. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And she still will talk about that to me. She's like, that is coming. It's closer than ever, etc. And so that is just super, super cool. So don't ignore your own intuition, because sometimes it is the uh, like most powerful part of yourself, is that deep inner voice and that silence. Sometimes those rituals that we can do, and you don't have to call them witchy rituals. You can also call them self-care rituals if you want, or whatever feels good or feels right to you. Some of the things that I will do sometimes too is bath salts and rituals. So I have 3 different kinds here that have come from various Lunam Love, like surprise boxes and stuff like that. So this one says blessings, and it has a lot of florals in it. This one is fast results, which has some Reiki to it. And then this one is abundant vibration. So these are all like bath salts that you can just pour into your bath. And you can really take that time to just be completely silent and have those scents and candles and everything around you. And sometimes that can help. Yeah, mindfulness is also a good way of putting it, for sure. Sorry, I can't bring up the right comment. It's mindfulness at the very least is just that moment of silence and listening to that inner voice and learning how to trust that the messages that you're receiving are truth. And sometimes some of the greatest like affirmation of my life has come from that. And I saw that Timoana said, something about grounding when I first came in. I think something about I don't have a lot of actual candles lit, but a lot of times I've been making videos in here. And I wonder if it's the scent I have in my Scentsy burner because Kelly, I think Kelly's here. I don't have an actual official Scentsy one in here. I have one that I bought at the farmer's market. And I think there's something maybe about that scent that is causing me to cough every once in a while. But anyway, another thing that I will use in ritual that you guys have seen me use before are these like 7-day candles. And a lot of times, what you can do, you can get some that already have like intentions. And a lot of times you can see that they have like crystals deep inside of them, which I think is cool because what you can do is you can hold the candle, and this goes for any type of small candle as well. It even goes for like a lot of times at the like Dollar Tree, they'll have candles that maybe have religious symbols on them, or they just won't have anything at all. And you can hold them in your hand and get to that silent kind of meditative space, and you can infuse your own like intention and desire. So if you, for example, like this one is called Higher Self, and it says that it has amethyst crystals, blue lace agate, and clear quartz inside of it. And this one is meant for manifesting. So what you could do, for example, is get yourself into a quiet space, maybe light one of the incense burner candles or anything like that. And you can just get yourself to that quiet space and then really visualize what it is you want to bring into your life, or who you want to be, or things that you want to take out of your life, or things you want to know, like just bringing that bit of magic into your life and understanding that we are beings of energy. And whatever you want to believe, there is so much more than what we can see physically with our eyes. And energy tells a story of its own. And I truly believe that when we can hold items like crystals, so for example, if I can grab it here without dropping something, clear quartz is like one of the most useful crystals when you want to put your own intention into it. It's kind of like you're coding your own message into a clear crystal. So you can use a point like this or just any type of clear crystal, and you can hold it in your hand and you can infuse it with your energy, and it will hold that energy. And that's the same thing that happens with these candles, is you can infuse it with your own energy, your own intention, and then that candle stays lit 24/7 for like 5 to 7 days, and it holds that flame for you. It holds space for that intention, whether it be something that you're mourning, something that you're celebrating, something that you're trying to call into your life. And it's really a beautiful ritual, and I love it. Oh, you can kind of see that they're where the crystals are. They're almost always at the very bottom of, I'm excited to use this one. Another thing that you can do is you can actually make little like ritual trinkets or things like that. So this is one that I have kind of a self-love spell, like learning to love myself, learning to like wanting to look in the mirror and love what I see and not be so hard on myself and speak kindly to myself. And so I put things like rose petals and other types of herbs that are more about self-love. And then I also, if you can see on the back here, wrote myself a little intention note about the love that I want to learn to give to myself, and the love that I feel like I was denied in other parts and pieces of my life. And then I took wax and sealed it closed, and then put a little clear quartz with an intention of self-love on here. And I keep this in my bathroom because that is probably the main place that I tend to be ugly to myself. There's only so many times you can get out of the shower and see your body naked that you can be mean to yourself. And it's like trying to learn how to just love myself as I am, understand that I'm on a path, understand that I don't have to compare myself or judge myself based on anybody else and what their expectations of me. I can just truly love myself as I am. And so I have this there to remind me and to hold that space for me as well. Um, and then also, I saw somebody say, do you do any sigil work? I don't do any sigil work, but I am interested in it. There has been, I think it's called the Witch's Moon subscription box that I shared with you guys from before. And this was something that Rhiannon Futch told me, like alerted me to, because it's such a great box. And they have some sigil things in there every once in a while. So I want to learn more, but I just haven't really done anything with it. Um, I like to buy myself beautiful flowers because no one else will in my family. And this is another thing that you can do. So Naomi is adding, a great way of doing spells is when you're cooking, you can add certain spices or herbs that you can transfer an intention to the food that if in alignment with the herb or spice, it will be magnified. I love, love, love that. I am not much of a cook, but I feel that more that I am learning how to garden and wanting to create my own herb garden, that I would love to not only have the ability to create and grow them myself, but then be able to use them in my cooking and in my spell work and in my house, just in intention wise. And I just love that. This one, I think I've shown you guys before. It's a little Ouija board mint tin that I got from Cracker Barrel like years ago, but you can take any kind of little box. The Ouija board has no real meaning in this situation. I just thought it was fun. But you can take a little box like this and you can fill it with different pieces of crystal, or like in this one, I have money, I have crystal, I have a letter of intention. I also have a piece of the garment that I wore when I gave birth to Evie, because that was a moment of pure manifestation for me, because I had had a C-section with Andrew and it was a little bit traumatic. Like he ended up being a healthy baby and everything was fine, but like I didn't want a C-section. I had wanted regular, I don't want to use the word regular really, but like, and so when I gave birth to Evie, I had that birth that I spent so much time working towards. And so I cut off a piece of the garment that I was wearing during that birthing process. And I thought, okay, this is a moment that shows my ability to manifest not only this child that I wanted, but also the ability to do it without any medication, which was a challenge, right? And it's not to compare or anything like that, but it was just something that was like, I really wanted to do that because I felt like my body had failed me in so many ways with PCOS. I was like, I want to do this on my own. And so I am using that because it's a moment that signifies some of my own inner strength and my power. And so that is in here as well. And this is a manifestation 10. So we will be doing a thing about manifesting next week. And then, like I mentioned to you guys before, we will also be doing a mini course on manifesting before the beginning of the year that will be about how to manifest your best year in 2023. And that will be a course that will happen probably early December. And if you show up next Friday, you might just get a chance to win free admission to that class. Just a little sneak peek there of what's coming. But some fun things there. You can also use crystals for grounding, really, like grounding yourself in your intention, grounding yourself. Like if you struggle with anxiety, I have truly found that there are some crystals that I can like place on my heart that can help me feel safe. And even just the weight of them on my body when I'm laying down or holding them in my hand, I just really have noticed a difference for myself, especially because this like last year was probably the highest anxiety struggle that I've ever had of my whole year. And everything is feeling so much better now, but it's something that I do because I tend to have my highest anxiety first thing in the morning, because I wake up feeling like what's gone wrong, like what's happened. Somebody tell me the news, and I love to use tiger's eye for grounding. This is a really good grounding stone. And another one that I like to use a lot is just the clear quartz that has my intention. And a lot of times this particular clear quartz for me is about my intention that's in here is that I know that I am safe and that I am always being guided, and that no outward attack, nothing anyone can do to me is going to take that away from me, that I am safe and I am powerful in and of myself. And I will use this one sometimes. Then if I start to have high anxiety around my own thoughts of myself, like a lot of times for me, I'm so goal oriented and future oriented that I think a lot about the future, which is where a lot of anxiety actually comes from. And even though I love thinking about the future and it gives me energy and I get like excited for it, sometimes thinking about the future or seeing someone who has something that I want, and it will lead me into thoughts of, but I'm not doing enough. I'm not getting there fast enough. And sometimes that's when I need to reach out to my rose quartz for like self-love and that personal grounding in my own like ability to love myself just as I am. And so I will often just put this right on my head for my mind, like, okay, I love myself. It's going to be okay. Something else that I have been doing recently for grounding is red. So this is kind of chakra based, but your sacral chakra is like a grounding chakra. And this is a chakra where it's really so much about like the core of your power, your safety, that security. And so I have been trying to wear more red. I have been trying to keep um a red candle. I have a red column candle like these over here, which it kind of made me laugh because at one of my videos, somebody just recently commented that they couldn't focus on the video the whole time because they were afraid that Hello Kitty was going to get burned. So let me just assure you, she's actually like this far away from that candle. You just can't tell because of the angle. But I promise I would not upload a video of Hello Kitty getting burned. So rest assured, it's all okay. No kitties were harmed in the making of my videos. But I have a column, like a big candle like that, that's red, that sits in the bedroom. And I will light that a lot of times at night before I go to bed, because it's that red for grounding myself in safety. And that is something that can become important for me. Now, Kate, our lovely Kate here, sent me some nice goodies. So when she sent me the Hello Kitty mug and the Spooktacular mug, she also sent me this selenite pencil, which I think is one of the coolest gifts that I have ever gotten, so that you can write on candles like this. And you can write your intention on the candle. So we will actually be doing something with a candle for manifesting your best 2023. But it is really, really kind of cool. With the fog machine starting a fire alarm, then setting Hello Kitty on fire, that definitely would be too much, Vicky. So crazy. But this is so cool because one of the things that I do in my sort of money bowl, money manifesting ritual every year is I write on the candle how much money I want to make over the next year. And it has been like so close every year. Like someday I'm going to write 7 figures on this and then it's going to come true. I'm not there yet, but you know, having that, setting that intention and bringing it out into the world and being able to actually write it down can be super, super helpful. You'll also notice that I have been wearing orange jewelry lately. So this is sunstone that was made in Oregon. I'm going to try to come just a little closer if you can see that. This was, let me see. This was designed by my lovely neighbor who is a jewelry artist. So this is sunstone that was mined in Oregon. And then also this ring was also part of it. And I've been wearing these a lot lately too. And I have an orange calcite because, as Evelyn said, orange can be really good for creativity and success. And so I have been surrounding myself with this. I would say out of all the colors, yellow and orange tend to be my least favorite colors, but sometimes I think I need those colors because they represent joy and creative flow. And actually, when I did my VBAC unmedicated, one of the things that got me through it was hypnosis. And when you do hypnosis, Hypno Babies was the thing that I did specifically. They have you imagine the color orange because it can help with pain. So this is something really interesting. And I mentioned this somewhat recently, but I will just mention it again, that kind of a gift that I've given myself for self-care this year as someone who has PCOS and sometimes is like concerned about hair that grows in places that I don't want it to grow. This year, I have given myself the gift of laser hair removal. And as much as I'll probably talk about this in some of my 6 month for life vlogs, because it is kind of a vulnerable personal thing to talk about. I think I talked about it a little bit last week. This past week, I went to my 3rd appointment and it gets more and more painful each time. And for me, it's 2 full hours of laser that is not painful the whole time, but it's painful the majority of the time. And it doesn't really hurt like afterward. It's just during the procedure. But what has been helping me is using the like things I learned during hypnosis. Like you learn to take your finger and when you drop it, it's like turning off a light switch and your whole body goes limp. And you can imagine, basically, I always imagine this kind of bright color of orangey yellow. And that actually helps with pain. So that is kind of an interesting thing. So next time, if you're going through some kind of pain, like you've got stomach pains or you stubbed your toe or whatever, just try just closing your eyes and taking deep breaths and calming your body, like trying to relax all of your muscles if you can. And then imagining this bright color or a bright orange color, like the sun is coming on your face or something like that. Like you can just feel the like bright orange glow of the sun warming your skin. That can be super, super helpful too. So those types of things have been helpful. I didn't bring everything, but I also have ritual oils. Now, I will say 99% of the ritual oils that I have are all from Lunam Love. I just love her shop and she makes the most beautifully like gorgeous smelling ritual oils. And some of them are safe for body oils. Like this one, I have arrived. She has a candle in this scent and she also has this, and they often will have like glitter and things in them. And I will put them sometimes like on my heart or on my stomach and behind my ears sometimes, just for that little bit of ritual body oil that has infused herbs in it so that it kind of pulls you into that state of grounding. Again, this is what I use for it. It's like self-belief, self-trust, this understanding that I'm safe and I'm doing the best that I can, and also help with getting your creative like energy flowing and things like that. Some of the other ones that she has are somewhat ritual oils, but not all of them are safe for your body. So you always want to read about them. But this one is really pretty as well. And this one is called Free Your Mind. And it can be a way. Similarly, I've been using this one when I'm trying to pull up some of those visions of the future of trying to free my mind from the things that have been going on around me. And instead, like putting it just right here on, like on my forehead and trying to just let go of the worries of the world and just think I am safe. I am safe. Everything is okay. And try to empty my mind. And that has been helpful. And then I also have this one, which is a more dark one. This is a triple protection oil. And sometimes like a lot of my anxiety comes from a feeling of not feeling safe. And, you know, when you yes, your third eye. Exactly. When you grow up, I was telling my best friend Kelly this the other day. It's like when you grow up and your earliest memories of being a 3-year-old were of hiding from your mother because you're so terrified of what she's going to do to you. Like cigarette burns and things on my hands and stuff like that. Your sense of safety, even if you are 40 years old now and you think you've created a safe environment for yourself, sometimes that trauma or those feelings and those fears are still like locked inside your body. And so I will often do protection rituals, and there's a few of them so this is just an oil that you can use, but you can also do other things that don't require you to have any type of, like ritual oil or anything like that. So one of them is having to do like with my coffee or tea in the morning. And so a lot of times what I will do is I will make my tea, and I'll take like a straw or something like this, or you can use a spoon, and I'll just go in a clockwise motion, and I'll say something like, um, I don't always say something like rhyming like ritual, but I probably should make something up. But yeah, like stirring my intention into this first sort of beverage that I'm having of the day and saying, I am safe, I am protected, I am guided. I am safe, I am protected, I am guided. And just kind of stirring that in until I start to feel better. And then as I drink it, I feel like and imagine that I'm drinking in that intention. I am safe, I am always guided, I have intention. That intention like flowing through me. And that is also helpful. There are ways too that you can, one of the other protection rituals that I've done for myself that you might want to try is just this like sitting down cross-legged on the floor and getting grounded on the floor, and like allowing, like I will often put my hands on my stomach. But you can also put a hand on your heart if you want, or a hand on your heart and on your stomach, because that's where I feel my anxiety a lot of times. I will show you my t-shirt. I saw a couple of people mention it. And I will close my eyes and I will imagine that a guiding light, God, some angel, any spirits that are looking out for me are shining their light on me. And I will look up as if I can feel that sun on my face, that good intention, that protection. And then I will imagine that it is filling me up. So as if like I have my mouth open and it's just filling me with light. And then once I am completely full, it spills out of me and around me into like a bubble of light. And that will also help me to start my day feeling very protected, and not only protected from something anyone might send to me or any negativity that might come, but also protected from my own thoughts, from my own negative thoughts that are, still inside of me. And just that being like filled with light reminds me of being filled with joy. And so that is just something that can really help if you're in a state of high anxiety or, not feeling safe. So, okay, t-shirt. Okay, so this says there's a little witch in all of us, and it has a little potion and a mushroom and a key, which is one of the reasons I loved it. Witch hat up here, some crystals, herbs, and a little potion bottle over here. So this is today's giveaway for Spooktacular Day 3, which is your choice of t-shirt from Piper and Ivy. So if you go, just search for piperandivy.com, or you can go over to my blog. I think maybe I don't think I put a link today. But there is a raffle copter there that you can enter. And this is basically just one of many different t-shirts. So this one, the one that Dee Dee has that I also have, says books, and it's got some ghosts on it. You can also find ones that are just book related. So it'll say like, I'm all booked, and have a picture of a book. It can have witchy kind of things are available right now in the store, and you can get this in multiple colors. So this one is obviously the sort of burgundy red color, but you can get it in like heathered green and navy and yellow. There's lots of different colors for it. So this will be your choice of any t-shirt that they have on their site. And they have tons of witchy ones and tons of book ones, and they are so very cool. So that's today's giveaway. Make sure that you go and enter. And if you're having, I've seen a couple comments that people were having trouble with the raffle copter. Try a different browser and see if that works. Or if you're on mobile, try going to a desktop or your tablet and seeing if it works a little bit better. Or if you're on mobile and you're on like Safari, see if you can use Chrome, because all of the entries are coming in, and we've had just a handful of people that have had some issues. And just know that like you can log in with a Facebook login, or you can log in with your email, and all you have to do is put your name and email. But I won't be like using those emails in any way, and Rafflecopter doesn't use those emails. The only reason we're getting your email is so we can let you know if you win. Otherwise it won't be used. So how is the t-shirt material? It's just typical cotton. I think these are Bella canvas t-shirts. This one is just kind of a typical cotton. It didn't shrink at all when I used it. I am wearing, I believe, a large shirt. And then the one that I got that says books is a heathered gray. And that one is like a softer, softer cotton, but they're both like cotton based t-shirts. And I'm sure you can find the exact like makeup on their website. So Wendy said a lot of people have been having troubles with Facebook login. Just don't use a Facebook login. Just say your name and email, and just know that you're not like signing up for anything. You're not going to get emails all the time. You're just putting in your email so that I can contact the winner when we get to the end. If you want to do the giveaways, I think you should find it in the description box below, a link to my blog for day 3. So all of the giveaways are at sarahcannon.com/blog, and you'll just see there the day 1, day 2, day 3. So day 1's giveaway is the grand prize giveaway that we won't choose a winner until the end. So you can go and enter that, I think, every single day. So that one is for 15 signed paperbacks. That's the entire Shadow Demons Saga, as well as the Sacrifice Me paperbacks. And then day 2 was a copy of The Witch's Key in ebook, which is available for everybody. And I think we've already had a couple hundred people download those. So if you want to go get The Witch's Key, it is free for you to download through BookFunnel. So that link to download it is available on my blog for day 2. And then the day 3 giveaway is the Piper and Ivy Choice of t-shirt, which is super, super cool. And the other thing that's happening today before we go is a full chance to order any of my backlists signed in paperback. So, yes, you can enter the grand prize giveaway every single day. So go check it out. To get to the Rafflecopter, you just go to sarahcannon.com/blog. The link is down below in the description box, and all of those are on the daily blog post. So the grand prize is on the ones that says day 1 grand prize. The ebook is on the day 2. Day 3 is the giveaway for the Piper and Ivy t-shirt is there in the day 3 post. Tomorrow, we have our Hocus Pocus 2 watch party, and this is going to be super fun. In today's video over on the blog and in the Coven, there's a little bit of a walkthrough of how to use Teleparty, and then tomorrow you'll find the link for how to join the Teleparty. I will share it in the Discord server and in the Coven as well, but you can also find it on my blog. And that is, yes, there are so many ghosty shirts. They're really cute, and I have found them to be really good quality as well. So that's a fun giveaway. The books are there. Tomorrow is going to be Hocus Pocus, and tomorrow's giveaway is a Witchy starter kit that's going to have some of these ritual type items in them. So if you've been watching that thinking, oh, I really would love to have some of this stuff, tomorrow is your chance to win. We've been leaving most of the giveaways are going to be open for about 48 hours. Some of them open a little bit longer. So if you want to get a chance to win the Piper and Ivy t-shirt, then you need to go and enter today or tomorrow. If you want to order some of my books in paperback, those signed from me, this is the first time I've ever offered all of these books. You can even get all 11 books of the Shadow Demons Saga for a discount and so on. That order form, I don't know if I put it in the description here, but that order form is over on my blog today as well. And it's in the Coven and it's in the Discord server. So you should be able to find that everywhere. It's just a Google form, and then I will invoice you. And that will be open until next Friday. So lots of fun stuff. Jenna is going to be doing that free trial of Disney Plus, so she can join the watch party. So if you want to join us for that, oh, I forgot to set up the cat, Patty. Where is my cat? He's behind me on the floor over here. I forgot to set him up. He's like right here. You just can't really see him. I totally forgot. But you can, oh, yay, Laura ordered hers. Thank you. So yeah, there's just lots of fun stuff going on. Tomorrow will be the watch party of Hocus Pocus 2, and it is going to be fun. But again, it's happening at, is it 2 p.m.? 2 p.m. Eastern. I keep getting mixed up on the time. The times are going to be listed there for you, but they'll be listed on the blog post and on the official schedule. But that will be through Teleparty. And in today's video, the day 3 video, there's a walkthrough of how to join the Teleparty. And then tomorrow on the blog, you'll get the link to join. And this won't be recorded or anything. It'll just be whoever's there is there. And I'll be on maybe about 15 minutes before 2, just to start chatting and stuff like that. If anything goes wrong with the link, because I couldn't find how long you can make a Teleparty link in advance. So I'm afraid maybe tomorrow the link won't be good. So just bear with me that if you go to the blog and the link doesn't work, go back to the blog or the Coven or the Discord, and I will post a new link. So if something happens and it's not working, also, if you get onto and you click the link and you get onto Teleparty and you're not seeing the chat, all you have to do is click your Teleparty icon inside your Chrome browser, or on the very side of the page when you're watching the movie, there'll be a little like a little chat box. And if you click on that, you'll see the chat just like you see here on YouTube. So it's going to be super fun. I will probably, just as a warning, I will probably be pausing the movie from time to time to make commentary. So if that's going to annoy you, then don't come, but I'm not going to do it excessively, but just if I see something that I want to mention or talk about or whatever, then I probably will stop the movie just a little bit. I am sorry that I didn't get to any of the Discord questions, coffee chat questions, but we just had so much other stuff to talk about today. But I am going to read for you guys my Witching Well story. And there's also going to be more readings coming as we continue on with the Spooktacular. This is just a super short 1.5 page story that you can get for free in that box set that is when you join my newsletter over on my website. You get this story for free along with the breadcrumbs story that I wrote and all of that stuff. So let me cough just a minute. Oh, and I forgot to mention and show you guys that I do have a magic wand as well. I got this almost a year ago in New Orleans. And this one is also for success. So it has a clear quartz on one side and it has a green aventurine on this side. And I don't actually use this to like bibbity bobbity boo or anything like that, but I will often hold this in my hand when I am like trying to come up with like intentions. And a lot of times what I do with this wand is my daydreaming about the TV deal and the movies and the things that are coming into my life. I try to envision those sorts of things. So DF Tech Writer says, could we order your entire library and in paperback and have them signed? Yes, every single book that I've ever written, except my short stories and except After Midnight, which is a novella in the Shadow Demons Saga, I never have made into a paperback. Literally everything else that I've ever written and published is available. So you totally can for sure. So the full sets, again, will not be coming in any kind of like packaged box set. They're just going to come individually, but they will be packaged nicely and pretty. So that's going to be super fun and such a dream come true to get a chance to like sit down and sign all of those books for you. So I will do everything that I can to make sure that they get to you before the holidays. So once those orders are placed, we will invoice you. And then once your invoice is paid, I will order the books printed and shipped to me. Then I will sign them and then I will ship them out. So it's going to be at least a month, maybe even a month and a half before they get to you. But if it seems like the printing is going to be delayed due to supply shortages, I will let you know. So I kind of want to watch you sign them all on a live stream. That's not a bad idea. Will After Midnight ever be released in paperback? I don't know. I mean, are you guys interested in that? Because I also had never done Season for Hope because it's a novella and I was like, I don't know. But then I eventually did. So maybe After Midnight, if you guys are interested in that, that one could also come in paperback as well. So this Witching Well story is, and I may have even read it once before for you guys, but it's fun to reread them, revisit the old days. This one I wrote for Jay O'Brien's blog one time where he had kind of a little carnival stop and he had a lot of guest blogs. And I decided to write a little story of my stop because my stop was supposed to be the wishing well in the carnival. And so I retitled it The Witching Well. So here is The Witching Well. Welcome to the Witching Well, the old woman said. She moved from her perch on the stones, a frail figure with long white hair and yellowing teeth. I froze at the entrance, tossing a look over my shoulder toward my group of friends. They'd moved on to the colorful lollipop shop. Part of me wanted to run after them, but part of me felt drawn to the spot. There was an energy here, unlike anything I'd ever felt. Come closer, my dear, she said with her thin, papery smile. Don't be afraid. I shivered as I crossed under a trellis that had been decorated with the most beautiful red roses. The air shifted around me, colder here somehow, despite the summer evening. This is the place where wishes are made, where your every desire can be realized. She motioned toward the stone well at the center of the space. All you have to do is step a little closer. My legs trembled with each step that carried me toward the well. Why do you hesitate? The woman asked. She wrapped a bony hand around my arm and guided me forward. There's no reason to be afraid. The power you feel is the magic of the well. It speaks to you, doesn't it? I nodded, not finding my voice. My eyes were glued to the witching well with its dark gray stones and mossy exterior. How strange that it seemed a permanent fixture here. Wasn't this a traveling fair? Here you are, dear. Look down, deep down into the water below, she said, a sweetness dripping from her words like honey. Tell me what you see. Shivering, I knelt at the mouth of the well. With a shuddering breath, I leaned over and peered down into the mirrored depths below. My own simple reflection stared back at me, a plain girl with stringy brown hair and glasses slightly too big for her face. Tell me what it is you long for, the woman said. Beauty? At her words, a ripple formed in the water. I gasped as a new vision of myself appeared, smooth-skinned with shiny hair and the eyes of bluest blue. Fortune? The image changed again. I saw myself wearing stunning jewels and driving a sleek white car. The vision was so clear I could almost feel the cool leather of the steering wheel beneath my fingertips. No, she whispered, narrowing her gaze. It's true love you seek. I leaned closer as the image in the well shifted one more time. There he was, a perfect replica of his green eyes and tousled hair. I knew the angles of his face and every movement of his body. I'd been watching him at a distance for years, but there he was in front of me. He turned and looked deep into my eyes. My breath caught in my throat and a warm flush spread across my cheeks. He looked so real. How does it work? I said, my voice shaking. I searched my pocket, pulling out a handful of coins. The woman smiled. True, there's always a cost, she said. She placed her wrinkled hand upon mine and shook her head. But coins are not the currency here, my sweet. Confused, I put the money away. I don't have anything more, I said. A cool breeze blew around us as thunder sounded in the distance. An eerie smile spread across the woman's ancient face as she placed her hand over my heart. You have so much more than you know, she said, for there's a little bit of witch in all of us. Dun, dun, dun. So, perfect shirt. There's a little witch in all of us. It made me immediately think of this story and the visions. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect topic for today. This was like just a fun little story that I literally wrote in about 10 minutes, right? And I sometimes feel like when I get stuck, it would be fun to just write more stories like this, like just fun little snippets of ideas. But here is always the problem is like, I always want more too. I feel like I'm not very good at writing short stories because there's always more to be told. And I will mention this a little bit on the day 5 video that I actually just recorded earlier today, that I know so often I am not writing at the speed with which most of my fans wish that I was writing. And it is sometimes one of the hardest things of my life to not be able to write faster and to make everybody happy and to please everyone. And sometimes it's my own fault that I'm not writing as fast as I want because I have writers don't write outside of themselves. It's like it comes from inside. And when you have baggage and trauma and things that hold you back, there are always ways that we sabotage. There are always blocks. There are always healing and things that we need to get through in order to find that story, in order to unearth it and tell our best stories. And I think that I do hold myself back in so many ways, and I'm so anxious and ready for a time when it's just all unleashed and my stories come out faster. But the joy and gratitude that I feel for all of you that have been here through thick and thin, for those of you that are new, even though I haven't had a release other than breadcrumbs in over a year, those of you that still continue to show up and be a part of this community, I cannot express how much you mean to me. And just know that in those moments, if you ever do find moments of stillness where doubt creeps in, just know that there is an author out there that cares about you so much, and that there's a community here that loves you and that is grateful for you always. You always have that. And I just wanted to let you know and express that for you. Speaking of a compendium of short stories, if you loved this story and you loved the breadcrumb story that I read, you can grab that for free when you sign up for my newsletter. So that is also over on my blog. If you just go to sarahcannon.com, you will find a link to sign up for that newsletter. It's probably also in the description here if you're on YouTube. And you sign up, I send you that, as well as some fun stories about me and a picture of the house I grew up in and all of those fun kinds of things. Actually, a picture of me when I was around the age that I had that first vision, somewhere around there. And also an exclusive little gift for you a few days after you sign up. So lots of fun things over there, lots more giveaways. So I will see you guys. Go order some books if you would like to. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Hocus Pocus watch party for those of you that are able to join in. And I just love you. Thanks for hanging out today. Happy Friday. And I will see you guys next week for manifesting your best life. And I'm looking forward to it. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.